Hey, kind of wanted to do like a little recap. I know I talked in one of my videos. I wanted to like sit down and talk about where I've been over the last couple of weeks, like last like 6 or 7 weeks, honestly, because low-key I've been kind of having a little bit of a hard time. I've been struggling a bit, like especially during the month of August. I wasn't consistently uploading on YouTube, which really irritates me and bothers me. So I kind of like wrote down everything that kind of happened during the month of August as a way for me to like put down all the things in the past that just weren't too good that happened, and that way all my like baggage from the last month, I can just like let it go. I know nobody is like sitting at their computer every week like waiting for me to upload, like nobody really notices me, but I notice when I'm not active on my channel, and it really gets at me. So the beginning of August, I actually started the month out in New York City. I went to visit one of my friends. I remember when I got off the plane, I was just gonna Uber to her house. I've only ever used an Uber a couple of times, and I did not remember if it was that expensive or not other places. Like I know we've done it in DC and Florida. So I asked her, I was like, hey, is that normal? And she was like, yeah, that's normal. She was like, but you could just take the bus and it would be way cheaper. So I was like, okay. I only had to get on 2 buses, but the buses weren't correct on the map because they were doing construction on like one of the stops I needed to get off of. So I could not get off on the stop I needed to. So I had to get off in a totally random area. It's like 11 p.m. at night. I'm just like walking around trying to find this bus stop, and I finally found the bus stop, and I get on another one, and I kid you not, did the same exact thing. It went through another construction site and just let me off in the middle of nowhere. And at this point, I'm so exhausted. I just like call the Uber anyway, and I pay like the $60, take me wherever I'm going, because I was just so exhausted. So I kind of like got off on the wrong foot in New York City. I was talking to my other friend the other day about this, and I just don't think I was in like the proper headspace to really enjoy a trip at the time. Like I really needed a break. I'm grateful I got to go, but at the same time, I just don't think I was in the proper like headspace to enjoy it. And then after day 1, I was really just like frazzled and rattled. I hadn't ate. I was in an unfamiliar place. Like it was just like, you know that book, Alexander and the No Good, Horrible, Very Bad Day? That was me that day. And then it leaded into the month. It was like Emily and the No Good, Horrible, Very Bad Month. So that happened. I finally made it to her apartment, and I was just so exhausted. And I remember we would go out around the city and do stuff, and all I wanted to do kind of was just go back and sit in her apartment. I just needed to like decompress because it was a lot. So that left me even more physically and emotionally exhausted than I was when I got there. But I am grateful I got to go. I got to see Times Square and the big Disney store, Statue of Liberty. I rode the Staten Island ferry. I'll put some pictures around here of everything. I went to Battery Park. I went to the Erin McKenna's there. And then I think just a couple days after I got back here, Chris had to move out, and he had to move out and go back to school because his school went back to in-person learning. So that was sad because we went from like seeing each other 24/7 to only seeing each other like 1 hour a day, which is sad. Then my mom had some health issues come up, and my mom's really like low-key. She doesn't like social media, or like she doesn't have a Facebook. She literally only has a Facebook account under an alias to play Candy Crush. Like my mom is that lady. She does not like social media or anything like that, so I don't want to be like talking about her business too much. I don't want to talk about my family too much because like they're just like not involved with this channel, and I don't feel it's right for me to talk about people, but like I feel like it's intrinsic to like knowing my situation and like who I am and stuff like that. But basically my dad is super disabled. My grandma is like 93 years old, and my mom is kind of like the main provider for both of them. Like she looks out for them and takes care of them and takes them places if they need to go places. So it's like, crap, if my mom isn't there, like I need to step up and be there. But it's hard because I'm so far away, you know? So I was kind of just like waiting in the balance, you know, like do I need to come down there, or do I need to stop everything? Because it's not that easy. It's like I have a job here, I have an apartment here, like I will be there if you need me to, but it's like I need to know where to be so I can like make arrangements, you know? So I was like just kind of stressing about that. But one thing that really takes my mind off of things and I can put all my like time and energy to is YouTube. I love working on YouTube and creating things and doing things like that. So I was like, I'm just gonna throw myself into a lot of YouTube to try to keep my mind off of it. And I kid you not, my Wi-Fi went out. I've lived in this apartment for 2 years. I've never had a single issue with the Wi-Fi, and the Wi-Fi went out. Called them up and I was like, hey, I think my Wi-Fi is out. And they were like, okay, it's probably your router. Your router probably got struck by lightning. I was like, okay, cool. So they mailed me a box. I plugged it in. It was not my router. I called them back and I was like, hey, this is not working. They were like, okay, we will send somebody out there. And they were like, we'll send somebody out there in like less than 2 days, and we'll call you an hour before they get there. So I was like, okay, that sounds great. So I go along with my business. I was able to still edit on my computer because like the editing software I use doesn't require internet. So I went ahead and edited one of the videos I had made and I needed to upload it. Light bulb. I was like, Chris, my boyfriend, goes to school, they have Wi-Fi. I was like, can you just like sit my computer in your dorm room and like let it do its thing and like upload? And he was like, yeah, I can do that. So he took it to his dorm and he was like, actually, I have one better. I'll plug it up to the Ethernet cable so it's like really, really fast. And I was like, okay, plugs it up to the Ethernet, starts uploading my video. And he's like, your video's uploading, because I was at work when he was doing all this. Like I went over to pick up my laptop and he said, there's a problem. And I said, what do you mean there's a problem? And he said, your laptop won't turn on. He said, your laptop, when I try to open it, it says no user access. You're locked out of the domain. Basically meaning I can't do a single thing on my computer. I can't unlock it. Why is this happening to me? I have a school laptop. The school I went to basically gives all its students a computer, and then when you graduate, you get to keep it. Once I graduated, I was supposed to like transfer everything over to something, but it was not clear at all, because if I knew this was gonna happen, I would have done it. So then it was a whole ordeal about getting this computer fixed. You have to go through like the school's page to get an appointment for them to fix it, and you have to have like a student ID. Well, I'm not a student. So I went in under Chris's name, made myself a appointment, and took my little self over there. They basically like told me that the reason they kicked me out was because I'm no longer a student. It was a whole ordeal on whether or not they could, one, get my computer back working, and two, keep all my data. They think they can basically like take everything on my computer, put it on another computer, wipe my computer clean, and then put everything back on here so I won't lose anything. And I was like, that sounds great. I would literally love you to death if you could do that for me. So I go home, have no computer, no internet. I'm just chilling. So then the next day rolls around and I have to go pick up my laptop at 1 o'clock or something like that. I kid you not, 12:40, I get a call from my sister that says, the Wi-Fi man is outside of your house. And I'm like,
why?
He said he was gonna call me 1 or 2 hours before he showed up. You're telling me he's outside? And how perfect is that? He's outside at the same exact time I need to leave my house to go rescue my computer. But anyway, he shows up, he does his stuff inside, and he's like, I have to run to town and do something. Are you gonna be here when I get back? And I'm like, nope, sir, I gotta peace out of here. What do you expect me to do? But he was like really nice about it, and he already had everything done inside, and he said he could do everything from outside. Like, he was honestly a stellar Wi-Fi dude. Like, I would recommend him. He was very nice. I went down to the computer place to pick up my computer, and they said we fixed it. You know, I was like, hallelujah, thank you, Jesus, because I needed something good to happen. And on my way home, I passed the Wi-Fi dude, and he was like, hey, fixed your Wi-Fi. Also, I went up the power pole or whatever, made things a little bit faster. Thank you, sir. Like, I was walking, like the sun was shining on me in a way it had never shined on me before. I was feeling good. I got my computer back. My Wi-Fi was fixed, man. I was feeling good, you know. I feel good. Do 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 do. That was me walking home. Like, nobody could have told me anything. Like, I was that person that day. I was feeling good. I get up the next morning. I go to like start editing a video. I'm so flippin' excited. I can finally edit again. And I stick in my memory card. Nothing happens. I was like, why is nothing happening? Because normally you plug it in, it goes boop, and then like your stuff pops up, and I'm like, that's a little weird. Nothing is happening. I take it out, I unlock it, log it back, put it in, nothing happens. Okay, if I go to my files to look for it, nothing. That's a little sus. Go back in through Chris's account, and I make myself another appointment over at the computer place. I almost like predicted what was gonna happen. I knew they were gonna make me think that I was crazy and that it was just my memory card, when I know darn well it's not my memory card. I walk in over there and they're like, it could be your SD card. I know it's probably protocol for you to say that, but I wouldn't be here if I hadn't tried it already. I wouldn't. I really wouldn't. They bring over a loaner computer and they're like, it's probably the SD card, but they plug it into a loaner computer and boop boop, everything pops up. It's not my memory card, dudes. I know it's not. So then the one dude turns to me and he's like, it's probably your hard drive, which is not fixable. There's nothing we can do about it. And I'm like, you're telling me this computer worked totally fine until I plugged it up to an Ethernet at your school, and now you're telling me my whole entire hard drive is like busted and I can't upload anything? Like, if I can't import pictures and videos to this computer, it's useless. I do not need a computer other than to make YouTube videos. That's all I need a computer for. If I cannot upload pictures and videos to this computer, this is useless to me. Like, that's all I need a computer for. And you're telling me you think my hard drive is not working because I plugged my computer up to the Ethernet? That just doesn't make any sense. And I wasn't getting an attitude. I was just being like, I don't want to leave here with you guys making me think that I'm not knowing what I'm talking about, because I know clear as day my memory card works just fine. I can see everything on my camera and everything like that. So I think they maybe thought I was getting a little bit of an attitudinal, even though I wasn't. The two dudes, they were like, yeah, we're actually just training, so we're gonna get somebody else to look at it. They bring in this other dude to look at it, and he goes to download like an SD card reader, and he literally turns to me and he goes, if this doesn't fix it, there's nothing we can do. Thankfully, SD card driver worked. And he goes to the two trainers and was like, yeah, it was just a bad SD card reader. And they were like, really? Really? And I'm like, it was not my memory card. I'm not crazy. I know it wasn't. You know, but I'm just a girl in a box here on YouTube. Nobody listens to me. And then, get this. So I'm walking home again, but this time I'm not as happy. The sun's not shining on me as much because I knew had that dude that downloaded the new SD card reader walked in there, those two trainees would have let me walk out of there thinking it was just her SD card. So anyway, I'm walking home, yada yada. I don't have an attitudinal yet. I don't. But it's like I get home and I'm just like thankful my computer works and I can edit again. So I sit down, I start to edit, and I kid you not, I hear a drip. And I look over, my AC unit is just bellowing out water. And I'm like, wow! So I run in there, turn it off, I get a bucket and a towel. I love my landlord, they're the best people ever. I text them and I'm like, hey, my AC unit is leaking, but thankfully, seems to be fixed for now. So then I sit down to edit, I pull my mouse out and my mouse isn't working, and I'm like, why isn't my mouse working? I have like a wireless mouse, and I look at my computer and the Bluetooth plug was removed. It was there before I took it to the computer shop, so I wonder what happened to it. Yeah, somebody over at the computer shop took my mouse plug. It was only $5, but it's the principle of the thing. I'm one of those people, I will fight to the death for the principle. That was just like icing on top of the cake. Like, it wasn't actually that big of a deal, but it was just like, come on. Y'all took my mouse. Then I have a whole other situation on my hands. My parents very kindly gifted Christopher 2 new tires for his birthday. His birthday is September 24th. Anybody watching, feel free to put happy birthday in the comments for him. They gifted him 2 new tires for his car for his birthday. Since my parents gifted them to him, they obviously want him to get them done in North Carolina at their like hometown mechanic or whatever. Being the sweetie I am, said like, I'll take your car to North Carolina for you. Mechanics are only open Monday through Friday. He has class Monday through Friday. So I said, hey, I'll take your car to North Carolina to have that done, and you can just go to class. You don't have to miss school or anything like that. I went home on a Sunday morning, got the tires put on Monday, and while we're at the tire shop, they walk in and they're like, you have a major alignment problem. Well, that's what's stripping your tires of the wires inside, so if you don't get that fixed, these new tires are gonna be bald again pretty soon. And I was like, oh, you don't say. That does make some sense. Well, crap, I don't know what to do now because I have to work the very next day. I have to work on Tuesday afternoon. So I was like, I have very limited time, and I also have very limited resources because I'm 4 hours away from where I work. I either drive this car 4 hours on these new tires that I'm potentially ruining while driving there, or I try to find some place that can do it ASAP. Thankfully, my dad was able to call a shop, and they said they were able to get me in on Tuesday morning in Georgia. So I'm in North Carolina. I need to go to Georgia to get these tires in the morning, and then I need to get all the way back to Kentucky to do my work that afternoon. That day rolls around, I get up at like the crack of dawn, and I drive down to Georgia, get the alignment thing sorted out. And while I'm sitting there, the dude walks in and was like, are you aware your car needs struts? And I was like, not today, sir. Not today. My car needs nothing else except for me to get in it and drive back to Kentucky. No, I didn't actually say that to him. I was just like, okay, I'll let him know. Because they assured me like I could still drive it there without ruining my tires. It was just like for like a stability thing. I should put struts on the car. So I'm like, peace out of there, and I start on my journey to Kentucky. I woke up in North Carolina, drove to Georgia, drove to Tennessee, drove back to Kentucky. I hit 4 states in one day, baby. It's like, you know, the 4 parks in one day challenge at Disney World. I did 4 states. Not nearly as fun, let me tell you. And like normally none of this bothers me. It's just like back to back to back to back to back. I need a break, or I'm gonna break something. So yeah, that brings us up to modern time. Is that what I mean? Modern day? Today? That brings us to today. Ooh, that was a lot, but it feels good to get it out there. Also, I don't think I said, but my mom's fine, and I think that is everything I wanted to say. I was going to include like decorating for fall in this vlog, but I think this is gonna be like a video within itself. I'm just like, letting me vent. I hope you guys are having an awesome day, and I'll see you all very soon for another video. Be sure to subscribe, and we are working on getting back on the optimistic bus in my life. So if you want to be on there, be sure to become a subby. I will see you all very, very soon. Bye guys. Also, just a side note, when I was in New York City, I saw a dog take a poo on a street corner, and it really like did not sit well with me. I don't know why. That was like one of the things I saw that, like, you could think of all the things you could see in New York City, but the one that would actually like shook me to my core was like, I saw a poor dog have to take a poo on a street corner, and its owner had to pick up its poo off the sidewalk instead of the grass. That was just not something I thought I would see. Even though, like, where's it gonna poo? I guess on the street corner. I guess they're used to it, so they probably don't care, but it's just like, seeing that, I was just like, that just did not feel right. And I was just like, man, I don't think I belong here. I gotta get back to where the green grass grows. All the eyes on